The Black Ops 7 beta is here, and if you are looking for the best possible settings to be the demon that you want to be on console, you are in the right place. Sit back, relax, take some notes. I've got the best console settings for you for the Black Ops 7 beta. Let's get started. Right away into the controller settings. Read Boy plays on Bumper Jumper Tactical. Ideally, the main concept with your button layout is you never ever want to take your thumb off the thumbstick. That's your key thing to being as good as you can possibly be at the game, especially in a game like this where people are flying up, down, left, and right all over the place, and you got to do a lot more movement. You never want to have to take your thumb off the thumbstick to jump around, to drop shot, to do whatever. So being able to do that, whether you have paddles in the back, whether you want to play claw, whether you change your button layout or something like that, that is the key thing. Now, we do have code read on Scuff if you want to get yourself a beautiful Scuff controller with paddles in the back. But before I had that, I learned how to play L1 Bumper Jumper Tactical. So I jump with my L1 button and I crouch with my R3 button, which is now my back paddle. But I don't even need the paddles to be super duper nasty at the game. Basically, that's the concept you want to go with. Now, your sensitivities. For some reason, a couple months ago, they decided to go from a nice, super simple 1 to 20 whole number scale to 1 to 4 decimal places, and you'd think, okay, maybe if I just divide my old sense by 5, that'd be my new sense. No, they didn't want to do the scale like that because that would make too much sense. So we got this little chart right here for you. This little chart comparing your old sensitivity and what you used to play on, 1 through 20, compared to what it is now. Ideally, where you want to be is that 1.45 sensitivity at the lowest, and if you want to be as good as you can possibly be, 2.1 / a 10 sensitivity is going to be your highest. This is the golden zone for being good at the game, especially now with there being significantly more movement in the game. If you want to turn really fast and turn on people, sure, go crank your sensitivity all the way up. But if you want to be the absolute best you can and shoot the straightest, shoot like all you see all the pros doing and all the cheaters on PC doing, what you want to do is have a lower sensitivity and hit every bullet. You want to hit every single bullet in every gunfight. That is #1 priority. That is way more important than occasionally, once in a while, having the chance of turning on somebody or turning and burning on somebody or 180ing somebody. That's really cool and really satisfying and fun when that happens. But overall, you're going to want to shoot straight the other 99% of the time when you are trying to shoot somebody off of head glitches or from far away. Speaking of off of head glitches, Read Boy plays on a lower vertical sensitivity than horizontal sensitivity. I will say, I've said in the past with Warzone, and depending on what you're playing with multiplayer, with Warzone, the lower vertical sensitivity is a little bit of a struggle with people on high buildings or parachuting in and whatnot. It's also a little bit of a struggle in this game with people jumping up and down and left and right all over the place. So I don't particularly recommend it as much. It's just been engraved in my muscle memory through 10 years that this is my sensitivity. So I'm sticking with it for now. We'll see if that stays true to the full game. But what this does, the lower vertical sensitivity helps you be more fine-tuned in the vertical adjustments. It helps with sniping to make sure you get less hit markers and helps with beaming people off of head glitches. That's your sensitivity. That's your button layout. Those are some of the more important settings. None of these matter too much. Controller vibration, 99.9% of people are going to tell you turn that setting off. Get that out of here. But Read Boy can't shoot straight unless his controller is twerking, so I need this cranked on. I can't even play if my controller doesn't have vibrations working. I've had to get new controllers because of that before. But most people are going to say turn that off. Same thing with the trigger effect, turn that off. Your dead zones, very important settings. You do not want these set on default. You do not want these set to your 10 default. That's going to make you feel like you just can't shoot straight. That's going to make you wonder why you see pros shoot way straighter than you. You want your dead zones lower, your left stick lower to help you with your movement, going to help you get to that max speed just that little bit faster to be faster than everybody else. And your right stick is going to help you be more fine-tuned with your aim. You want those minimums to be very low. You don't really want to be spinning on your own. They've got this really cool thing here where you can test out your dead zones to see. I'm using a brand new beautiful Scuff controller right here. Code read, by the way. And as you can see, my controller doesn't move on its own unless I'm moving it. That's what you really want. You don't want your controller moving on its own. That is your #1 priority. As low as you can go, even if it moves just a little bit. If it moves just a little bit, 1, 2, 3%, that's not a big deal. That's never going to negatively affect you in a gunfight. It's never going to get you killed when your stick is just 1% moving slightly slow. It's when it gets to be, 5, 10%. When you're doing 360s without touching your controller, that's when it might be time to use code read on a new Scuff. rather than continuing with that controller. You could up your dead zone at that point, but the more higher your dead zone goes up, the less fine-tuned your aim is going to be, the less you're going to be able to shoot completely straight. All right, on to the aiming sensitivities here. Third, none of these are really too important. The ADS sensitivity multiplier, you might want to lower this a little bit. As you can see, for me, it's locked because we're going to go to another setting later that's going to show you why that's locked and why that one's not too important right now. Besides that, the aiming advanced settings, this defaults to gradual. As you can see right there, I don't like the way that feels. That does not feel right with it set to gradual. The game just feels weird. It feels off. It doesn't feel right. Switch that to instant, especially if you've played Call of Duties in the past and you like the way your game felt in older Call of Duties. That should feel way, way more natural to you, and it should make your game feel definitely better. Your aim response curve types, these are personal preference. You're going to see so many people all over the place tell you, this one's better, this one's better, this is the cheat code, you need to be on this one. They're all personal preference. Whichever one you like better is one for you. I recommend you try all of them out. Maybe not standard. That one's not really liked by very many people. Linear dynamic, I would try either one of those out and see what feels the best to you. What feels the most natural, what feels the best to run around the game and shoot people with. Try them both out for a little bit. And then what you want to do is pick one, stick with it. Don't change it, because every time you change it, you're resetting your muscle memory. You're gonna have to relearn. You're gonna have to fight your old muscle memory on your response curve. You don't want to mess with that too much. The response curves, I play on linear. I like the way the linear feels. I feel like it feels more natural. It's like the older CODs and how I've always played. Again, personal preference on that. This curve slope scale doesn't really matter too much. I wouldn't mess with this. This is one of those settings that I don't think is really necessary and can absolutely mess with you more than it's going to help you. So I wouldn't really mess with this on linear or dynamic or standard on any of those. I wouldn't mess with it too much. The only two values it should really be at is 1 or 0. Those should be the only two you really mess with. Now we've got our custom sensitivity presume. This is why that other setting was locked. What I do here is on my lower zoom sights, you know, my 2 to 3 times, my iron sights, my red dots, we're at a 0.8 sensitivity multiplier. And then on my more sniper scopes, when, you know, your sensitivity is already, you're zoomed in, so it's already really slow, we want that set a little bit higher to the 0.9. The aim assist, Read Boy doesn't like cheating. The aim assist in this game is basically hacks. You're basically aimbotting. So Read Boy doesn't like that. He turns it off. He's just as nasty as he can be without his cheats, without the game aiming for him. You can do whatever you prefer to do there. The movement in this game, very important. This is one of the most movementy CODs. If you're watching this video, this is probably the most movementy COD that you've ever played. This is the most movementy we've had in about 10 years now. So the movement is important. Attack, sprint, assist, you want that on. That's going to be able to let you slide left, right, up, down, go crazy all over the place. Sprint, delay, zeros, have these set to on. You want the assists, you want these set to off. Sprint assist on, attack, sprint assist, mantle and crouch assist, you want those turned off. Corner slice, some people don't like it when their gun leans, when they're turning around corners. It doesn't bother me at all. I kind of like the way it looks, so I've got that set to on. Wall jump assist is a new setting. I think having any of these on is going to mess with you. I think it's going to mess you up more. It's going to help you. You're going to jump when you don't want to jump off a wall. It's going to throw you out of position, completely mess you up. So I've got that one turned off. I have yet to, in my 9.5 hours of playing the beta, I have yet to active roll once. So I don't really think this is an important setting. This might be more of a war zone type setting. I don't think that one's too important. Slide dive behavior. In this game, sliding is king. Diving is definitely beneficial though. If you can learn to play on hybrid, this will be the one that's going to make you the best. If you can get some time invested in the game to learn hybrid and not slide when you don't want to slide, not dive when you don't want to dive, if you can get used to that, it'll take a second. It's worth it. Hybrid is the best. If you don't play the game that much and you just don't want to get used to it, if you don't ever want to dive, play on slide only. If you don't ever want to slide, which I don't know why you would, sliding is definitely better than diving, play on dive only. I don't think the tap twos are good. They add a little bit of delay to doing things. It's going to make your movement significantly worse than the people you're playing against. So either slide only if you don't care about diving, or hybrid if you want to be able to dive as well, are the only two settings I would recommend. If you can get used to it, play on hybrid. These two settings are very important for maintaining fluidity in your movement, to keep your momentum going, keep you at top speed all the time. Sprint restore on, slide maintain sprint on. Definitely want both of those set to on. Wingsuit activation, we have yet to see that. That's more 20v20 stuff. I don't think it matters. I've got that set to manual. Wall jump activation, that's when you jump off the ground and you jump to a wall. How do you want to jump off the wall? I think press is definitely the best option. You could turn off wall jump if you really don't want to, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun and definitely a big part of being good at this game. Again, I haven't used the active roll at all. Movement advanced settings. If you don't like the attack sprint assist, if you don't like the feeling of that, and you want to play with that turned off, I definitely recommend the sprint behavior set to toggle and your attack sprint activation set to single tap run. This is going to make it so you press less buttons to get that maximum movement speed. Grounded mantle, off. You want that off so that way you're never mantling when you don't want to mantle. Vehicles don't really matter too much. Combat settings. Weapon mount activation. One thing you can do in this game, they brought this back from Caldera and the Vanguard era CODs. You can mount up and move while mounting. So you're getting rid of recoil and you can still be a moving target. So mounting is even more beneficial than it already was in the past CODs with just getting rid of recoil, because now you can still be a moving target. And what that being a moving target gets you to do is if you're a stinky, smelly cheater boy and you play with aim assist turned on, you're going to be able to strafe and get that rotational aim assist that all the fat mouse and keyboard kids complain about. You're going to be able to activate that and have even more aimbot on top of your already aimbot, on top of you not having any recoil because you're mounted up. A lot of fun. A lot of fun right there. Your dedicated melee weapon, you do run faster with your melee weapon out, so having that on is great. I like running around and swapping guns to cancel my reload, so having weapon cycle is not a good choice. You definitely want that to be hold melee. These, I don't really think this matters too much. Prioritize body shields is what I've gotten because I don't want to ever finishing move on accident. Armor plate, that's Warzone stuff. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Manual fire behavior. Some people will lie to you and tell you that if you set this to hold, you can make your burst guns fully auto. It is not worth it. It will make you shoot your semi-auto guns even slower. It will make you shoot semi-auto guns ridiculously slow, even though they're full auto. It's not worth it. You definitely want this to be pressed. That's how some people shoot their semi-auto guns faster than you can shoot yours. Advanced settings, any of these important here. Weapon mount exit. There's another one right here. If I'm ever mounted up and I want to stop mounting, I un-ADS. Boom, instant unmount. This allows you to strafe left and right and activate that rotational aim assist stuff and get maximum aim with that. So you want that set to off. I have this set to prioritize interact because that's a Warzone setting. I don't really want to get used to pressing different buttons in multiplayer compared to Warzone, so I've got that set to that. Although I do think tap to reload just feels more natural when playing multiplayer. Prioritize interact is definitely better in Warzone though, for sure. Mantle cancels reload and sprint cancels reload. I got that set to off. I want to be able to reload, and I don't want to stop my reload. I don't ever want to cancel my reload on accident. Kimbo behavior paired. This allows you to press just one shoot button to shoot your Kimbo guns at the same time. Definitely a good setting right there. Any of this weapon mount movement. Make sure that's set to on, baby. Make sure that's set to on. Weapon mount return. Don't have a clue what that is. Overlay advanced settings. None of those matter. I just got those set to default. All right, that's it for the good. It's the important stuff. The controller settings. Onto my graphics, which not very many options. Gamma, I think that's more specific to your monitor and your screen. Eco mode, I got that set to off. Kind of depends on your internet, I think. Quality, off, off, off. Make sure all three of these are off. Don't want those on. Fidelity, I don't notice a difference with that on or off. I don't know. I've tried it on, I've tried it off, I've tried it on at 100, on at 80, on at 50, on at 0. I just put it to the nice number because I'm mentally 7 years old. Then my texture streaming, I have really good internet. This depends on your internet limitations here. If you don't have good internet, you might have to set this to minimal. I've got it set to on to optimized. View FOV. A lot of people think that cranking your FOV all the way up to the max is going to make you better. It's not. You'll see the best players in the world that are actually really good at shooting straight and are actually really, really good. They don't play on max FOV because it gets to a point where it's more detrimental than it is beneficial to see those edges of your screen that aren't as important. Somewhere between 100 to 110, maybe 115 on the higher side of things if you can't really shoot straight or don't care about long range accuracy, if you're more of a close range SMG type guy. I think 105, 110 is like the sweet spot right there. I like it on 110. That's what I play on. Your field of view should be affected. Weapon field of view, wide. That's going to make your gun smaller on your screen. You definitely want that set to wide. Third person field of view, yet to use third person, but we got that set to the max. Vehicle field of view, you got that set to wide. That doesn't matter. Make sure these camera movements are set to least. And this is right here, most important setting in the entire game. When you get flashbang, rather than getting hit by the sun on your monitor and you losing your eyesight by the age of 30, Turn that on, your screen will go pitch black. Scare you, it'll make you think your game crashed the first couple times. When you get used to it, way better than your screen going blinding white. Trust me. Audio settings, all that good corny shit. Master game volume. This music in this game is redonkulously loud for some reason. I only have this turned on for the sake of this video, so there's background noise as you hear this lady screaming in your ear for some fucking reason. Turn that off. Turn that straight down to 0. It gets really annoying and in the way of the game. The game already has a ton of sounds going on. Dialogue, that's the overhead announcer. I don't want that overpowering the sound of any gameplay, you know, footsteps, gunshots, anything like that. So we got that down a little bit. He still says important things, so you want to keep that in your ear. Effects, crank that up to 100. I don't think the cinematic music matters. Audio mix. I haven't tested all of these to say one's better than the other. Sucker Punch was the W console audio cheat code in Black Ops 6. I'm assuming it's going to carry over, but it's a little too early to tell. People are gonna have to do a little bit more testing. Some of the more nerdy types are gonna have to do this testing on that to see. I'm just rocking Sucker Punch for now. I think it sounds pretty good. I can hear footsteps pretty confidently in this game. Hit marker preset. I like my hit markers to sound classic-y. Voice chat. None of this really matters too much. As voice chat, you don't want it to be too loud to where people in game chat are deafeningly loud and you can't hear anything. So adjust that accordingly to you. Interface stuff going on. You know, let's go real back. We'll go to the PS5 audio settings in a second. PS5 specific. We're gonna do the interface first. Any of this important? Not really. I've got my telemetry turned on. So that way you can see, you know, if you're on a really high ping server, if you're lagging because you have packet loss, I definitely recommend some of that stuff. The clock's not too important. Subtitles don't really matter too much. You can customize a ton of different colors in this game. I don't really mess with any of that too much. I haven't changed my filter yet, even though I normally play on one of these. That's just, again, that's just personal preference, pretty color stuff. Gameplay HUD, any of this important? I don't like the way the radar looks. Crosshairs, you want the crosshairs on. You want the crosshairs on and static. That's an important setting right there. You don't want your crosshairs moving around. You want them static in the center of your screen. So that's an important setting. Crosshair dot, you want that on. Constantly know where the center of your screen is. You can change your crosshair color. I like mine being neon green. Hit markers, you want those on. That's pretty much everything. Let's go into the PS5 specific settings real quick here. This is going to be even more of a cheat code with your sound, with your audio. Go to PS5 settings, sound, and then volume, audio focus. This is a relatively newer thing in your PlayStation. If you haven't turned this on, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is the best possible audio you can get. I'm recording this through my Elgato right now, so I can't enable it. You want this set to on, focus type, boost quiet sounds, don't adjust left, right separately, and adjustment level strong. Those settings right there are going to make your footsteps go crazy. That is a really, really good setting to have. That is like the console audio cheat code. That is one of the most important settings. Other than that, you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like. I appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if you think there's anything I should change, anything I should try out, any settings that are different than mine. Let me know what kind of settings you guys are running. Again, subscribe if you like Black Ops 7 or excited for Battlefield 6. Any of that stuff, Reboy's going to be doing loads of YouTube videos, guides, tutorials, all that good stuff coming up. Appreciate you. You guys have a blessed one.